in a world that's growing increasingly complex, there's still people out there who take pleasure in the simple things in life, in the things that are just so enjoyable, from running a marathon to getting gas. And our next guest, Alfredo Garcia Jr., spent time in the Air Force, went on to work in the private sector with Raytheon, runs marathons. He's an avid amateur astronomer. What just a great life this person has had, and we're really pleasure to have him today. Alfredo, thanks for joining us.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure. Hello from California.
Yeah, that's right. You're out there in sunny Southern California, right?
Yeah, just a little bit south of Los Angeles.
It's a great place, especially in the spring. I used to live up in the Central Valley, or San Joaquin Valley, up in Fresno. An absolutely beautiful place in the spring, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I live here in the South Bay of Los Angeles area. I'm about maybe 3 miles as the crow flies from the beach. And I tell you what, it's one of the things I stay here in Southern California besides family is the weather and the location, and just the amount of things there are to do in Los Angeles. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. Never get bored out there. I always see your see your adventures on Facebook, and when you're not in Los Angeles, it seems like you spend a lot of time in Las Vegas too, don't you?
Oh yeah, actually, that's interesting because I really don't gamble.
Yeah,
and neither does my lady. We go to Vegas, of all things, to run marathons.
Sure.
To attend comic book conventions and partake in our hobby as cosplayers. Mm-hmm. We go for the shows, the food, and just in general to get away from LA once in a while.
Yeah.
And we figure we go on average about six times a year to Vegas, somewhere along there. It's only about, on a good day, 4.5, 5 hour drive. On a bad day, it can take 8 or 10 hours. For about 300 miles.
I saw that when the other day when you I think you went to Las Vegas the other day, here a couple weeks ago, right? You were talking about it took you like 6 hours or something like that.
Oh yeah, almost 6.5 hours to do 278 miles.
Isn't that crazy? Well, yeah, as I said earlier.
Worse.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it has. Isn't there a little checkpoint right there at the state line or something, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, there's a little agricultural inspection station there in California. But, at the state line itself, the California and Nevada state line, there's nothing there but casinos, okay? There's no checkpoint there. The checkpoint comes later on as you enter California.
Wow. Well, as I said earlier, Alfredo Garcia Jr. spent some time in the Air Force. He's from the little town of Freer, Texas, down in South Texas. Probably, about 90 miles from Corpus, I guess? 80 miles from Corpus?
Yeah, 80, between 80 and 90, depending on what route you take, and about 120 miles south of San Antonio.
Yeah.
And then I guess about 60 miles east of Laredo.
Absolutely. It's a neat little town. Home of the Rattlesnake Roundup, right? Yeah. Now,
and the mighty Freer Buckaroos.
That's right, the mighty Freer Buckaroos. That's right. And now, Alfred. That's right. Now, after high school and all that, you went off to Texas A&I, which is now Texas A&M Kingsville, right? And
right.
You ended up joining the Air Force, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'll be glad to. Around 19... I actually graduated from Texas A&I in December of 1974. And a couple of years before that, I knew I was getting ready to graduate, actually about a year. And I was looking at it in the commercial sector to see what was available. And I didn't see too much that I was really interested in, because at the time I was pursuing a degree in physics. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't see anything. So I said, you know what? I've always liked the military ever since I was little. I used to play soldier and all that kind of stuff, And I said, I'm gonna go check with the military folks. So I went to the Army, the Navy, the Marines, Air Force. I stayed away from the Coast Guard, obviously. But Army and Marines wanted to give me a gun. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, that doesn't sound too cool. I mean, I like guns, but no, that's not me. Navy wanted to put me in a submarine under their nuclear propulsion program. And I said, me inside a tin can underwater, not a good idea. So I went to talk to the Air Force, and the Air Force said, hey, we'll take you in a minute. You got the right credentials. We have a big demand right now for the area of nuclear weapons maintenance. And if you want, we'll get you in and we'll guarantee you a job, career in that particular area. And I said, where do I sign up? And I did, and graduated December 74, January 75. I was at Officer Training School, Medina Air Force Base, located at that time right there near San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated April 75 out of Officer Training School, 90 days. Used to call us 90-day wonders. I don't know why. So that's a term of endearment used by the enlisted personnel.
Sure, absolutely.
Officers coming out of Officer Training School.
Sure, absolutely. Now,
so anyway.
Yeah. What did
so
what?
I graduated.
Yeah.
What? I graduated, right?
Uh-huh.
And April 75, I got my commission, and my very first assignment was to Vandenberg Air Force Base here in California.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So, being from a little town of Freer, Texas, and all of a sudden coming and having to drive through Los Angeles and all kinds of places in between Freer and Los Angeles and Lompoc, which is just north of Los Angeles.
Sure.
It was quite a trip. Yeah, I've never left the state before.
What was it? What was it like when you got to California, going from Freer, Texas? I mean, little bitty Freer, Texas, to Los Angeles, to California in general. What was it like?
All I can say was awe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had a 1970 Ford Pinto or Maverick. I'm sorry, Maverick.
Yeah.
And little blue one, 6-cylinder engine. That's what I drove from Freer, Texas to California in. And of course, at the time I was married. So there we are, pulling a little trailer behind us with my Ford Maverick, and we're crossing, Arizona, New Mexico, and finally you get to California, and I'd never been. The furthest I'd ever been was San Antonio,
mm-hmm.
and I thought San Antonio was big, until I hit the Los Angeles area,
right,
in that time frame, and I tell you what, it was just like, holy. I hope we don't get lost here or something like that. Anyway, we didn't. We made our way up. I had my first assignment and stayed here about, maybe a little under a year doing some training. And then from there, they sent me to Tucson, Arizona, and that's where I actually started my actual field experience in
mm-hmm.
nuclear weapons maintenance. I was actually responsible for the maintenance on the warheads of 18 Titan ICBMs. And there were 54 in the country at the time. That's the nation's frontline strategic defense. And I maintained 18 of those warheads. And it was my job to make sure that they were supposed to do what they were supposed to do in the event we went to war.
Uh-huh.
So anytime any one of those went down, it got reported all the way up the channels, all the way to the president. and,
wow.
And of course, it would flow all the way back down and say, "Okay, Garcia, what the hell's going on with my missile? Why isn't that warhead up? Blah 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 blah."
Sure.
I remember a colonel that I worked for, and he was from Alice, Texas.
Yeah.
And he used to rip me a new one every once in a while, but it was fun. It was fun. It all built character, right? Anyway,
sure.
Time went on, and I wound up doing about 13 years in nuclear weapons maintenance all around the world. And then my second half of my career, I decided, hey, I wanted to get a little bit more into the maybe satellite environment. So I cross-trained into another field. And for about another 12 years or so, I wound up doing design and development of weather satellites and intelligence satellites.
Interesting.
Until I retired in '99, and it was quite a fascinating career. I worked on 2 satellite systems in that time frame, and it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun.
I bet it was.
That's where I got assigned to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to L.A., and I actually got to spend a lot of time in Los Angeles proper, 4 years, it was a life-changing event for me. if it wasn't for the Air Force
Mm-hmm.
and for being assigned to Los Angeles, I don't know what my life would be like now, but it wouldn't be what it is now. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's one of those, like I was telling you earlier, it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
pivotal decisions. I owe a lot to Uncle Sam for, first of all, giving me the privilege to serve my country.
Sure.
Which is, that's the number one priority.
Sure.
And I served my country honorably, and Uncle Sam treated me with respect, gave me a lot of opportunities. I took all those opportunities that I could take, and it's got me to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And any young man or young lady out there that's not quite sure what they want to do, they want to maybe go out and explore a bit, military is always an option.
Mm-hmm.
And, you sign up, and if you don't like it, after 4 years, you can get out,
Sure.
But, because it's not for everybody.
Right.
Military is not for every single person. But
Sure.
For me, it was the right fit. And like I said, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for joining the Air Force. And
Were you
again,
apprehensive? Were you apprehensive? Were you apprehensive at all about leaving Freer to join the Air Force? I mean, what went through your mind when you did that?
You know what? I really wasn't. I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew there was a big world out there.
Yeah.
And living in Freer, I wasn't seeing that big world.
Sure.
And I said, this is an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And I took it. And now, many, many, many years later, I have seen the world. Everything except the Far East. I never went Japan or Korea or anything like that. But most of Europe, most of the United States, it opened up horizons that you don't see growing up in a little town.
Sure. And like we were talking off air a while ago, you met some absolutely fascinating people, and one of those people was General Chuck Yeager. Tell us a little bit about that. How
Yes, indeed.
you got to meet General Chuck Yeager.
When I changed career fields from nuclear weapons maintenance to satellite, what they call systems acquisition as an engineer, I was assigned at the Air Force Weapons Laboratory, Kirtland Air Force Base in Mexico. And I worked there on very technical projects for the first couple of years. Things like charged particle beams, high-energy lasers, I could go on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But then an opportunity came around. My boss at the time says, hey, here's an opportunity for you. It's going to give you visibility that you need to enhance your career. I said, okay, boss, what is it? He says, well, you're going to be the executive officer for the laboratory commander. I said, cool, sign me up. So there I was as a young captain working directly for the laboratory-based commander, and basically anyone that wanted to see the commander or send in paperwork or anything, it had to come through me first.
Mm-hmm.
I was his filter. So that was pretty cool as a young captain.
Sure, I bet.
And one of the things that the lab commander, still remember his name, Colonel Walton, he came up to me one day, hey, you know what, Alfredo, I want to have a formal dining out, which is a formal military function where we dress up in our mess dress and we have a dinner and we have guest speakers and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, for a guest speaker, I want you to go get Chuck Yeager. I don't care what you have to do, but
Wow.
get Chuck Yeager.
Wow.
And I said, yes, sir.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, here I am. I said, oh, my God, where do I go? What do I do?
Sure.
I started, asking around, researching. I finally found out that I needed to contact his wife
Mm-hmm.
to do the scheduling. So I managed to get her number. I called her up, and I told her what we were trying to do. And she said, yeah, no problem. General Yeager would love to come to speak at your function. We arranged the date, time, all that kind of stuff, when he was going to arrive in Albuquerque and all that. So at the time, I had a little red Fiero GT, Pontiac Fiero GT, a red two-seater sports car. Pretty hot little car.
Sure, yeah.
And so anyway, the time comes when General Yeager is arriving, and